Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We're Not on Drugs, We Promise. I am your host. Today, your co hosts are not here. Instead, I have a very special guest, Soul Spark. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, what's up, everybody? My name is Soul Spark, DJ, producer, mead brewer, resin crafter, and author. I've done a lot of stuff. If you're into that, I think I can hook you up,
Okay.
for
Okay.
lack of a better term.
So, start off with, I have a few questions I would love to ask you, if that's all right with you.
Go for it. What do you got?
To start off things, pretty curious of what is a belief that most people would disagree with that you agree with?
Like a hardcore belief of something?
Yes.
Let's see. Your purpose is within you, and if you want to find God and your purpose, you look within yourself. You don't look for anyone outside of your fucking body because God is within you, just along with Jesus Christ. So therefore, look within yourselves and heal yourself, motherfuckers, and I guarantee you'll find fucking Jesus.
Yeah. Well,
That's honestly, like that's like the best way I can like describe it, because the more inward you look and just try to find the answer you're looking for, the better things will go for you once you've gotten that answer.
yeah. Well, anyways, like you mentioned before, you do music and you also write books.
Yes, I do.
You're, would you say you're kind of building a brand here? Would you not?
I've been silently building it. It's I have a lot of ideas that I want to put together all at once, but I need more of a crew to be able to help me with that. But little by little, though, music and writing books is the start.
Okay. Um, who Who would you say Soul Spark is in your own words?
Someone who has found the light within him and wants to aid others in being guided through the darkness to find your own light.
Mm, damn. That that's deep. That,
Yeah,
that
because I've made a lot of like cyberpunk and mid-tempo type EDM tracks. That's like the most I've delved into, and like, or at least out of all the other types of music I've made. But cyberpunk and mid-tempo, it just helps you just get fucking through that dark side of you that you hide, and
yeah.
you won't feel whole until you face the darkness inside of you with the light at your hand. It's easier
Uh-huh.
said than done. It is easier said than done.
That is true. That it is easier said than done on that. But
It's like that one American saying where it's like you have two wolves inside of you, one of good or one of light and one of shadow or one of dark slash potentially evil. You choose which wolf you feed.
yeah.
So
So just to get a little glimpse inside your chaotic mind, what would you say comes first, your music or your ideas?
my ideas eventually flow into my music. That's why a lot of the times I more making like cyberpunk synthwave and like electronic sounding stuff more than I do just making like some like basic rap beats, which they're
Yeah.
fun. Rap beats are fun to make, but EDM, I'm able to like tell the story of my mind. more or less, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, that could somewhat make sense. But so when you first started, why did you pick the name Soulspark?
Well, originally it was Sage of Lightning Spark, and I just kind of like had it in like brackets, and it was just SOWL. But I wanted to kind of simplify it, not make it as fucking like mystical or crazy. Just something simple, just Soul Spark, which is basically soul is, I believe, Spanish and Latin for sun.
Hmm,
So sun
interesting.
spark, like I'm the
Yeah,
spark of the sun. Let me brighten you up a little bit in this darkness that we live.
yeah. Uh, when okay, just to get an idea, but when did this like transition, like in your life, when did this transition from just a hobby into something more serious?
It was around about 2019, 2020, where I felt like I found an avenue where I can express my inner emotions without really trying to vocalize them, because half the time people aren't paying attention to you anyway. So it's like, all right, I'll put something in the background and maybe then you'll feel it later. But at the same
Yeah,
time, like making music in general, especially if you delve into like music theory and just the feelings that you can get from like the different types of chords that you use, you can
yeah,
definitely like evoke a lot of interesting stuff inside of you. And music
interesting.
is just one of those avenues where it just helps you kind of pull yourself out of your own shit, you know?
Yeah. Um, how like to somebody at home listening who's never heard your music before, how would you describe your sound?
Let's see. If you're playing Cyberpunk 2077 or like some sort of edge runners or some sort of futuristic type game where you move in super quick, imagine someone that's just fucking pumping in the back of your head, telling you keep going, and it just gets more intense the more you fight and the more you keep striding forward. But like with like electronic anthems dancing in your head, something that like it's if giving you a trip through the matrix a little bit
Yeah.
and seeing what's on the other side, you know.
Oh, sounds deep. Um, would you say your tracks, when you create a new song, would you say your tracks start with a feeling or a concept?
It would depend. Like sometimes it's a concept which kind of gets built out over at least 3 or 4 different projects. But when it comes to a feeling, you can express that in one track alone, and it'll be able to evoke everything that you can think of. Because all it takes is just find that right sound that just speaks to you. So it really depends on what you're going for at the end of the day. And sometimes having a combination of both feeling and a concept behind a feeling, that's where it really gets powerful.
Oh yeah.
Because more often than not, I'll be sitting in my studio trying to think of something, but nothing comes to me. It's only when really strong emotions are pulsing through that straight up just blow your expectations out of the water.
Yeah. When you are creating,
I'd like to take a quick break, a quick moment to talk to you about today's sponsor, DUBBY. DUBBY is a powerful, is a powdered energy drink mix for focus, gaming, and long sessions where you just need to stay locked in. You mix it with water, and it's basically clean energy alternative to typical can energy drinks without the sugar crash. I'm actually planning to try it myself because I'm always looking for something that helps with long recording days and late night editing sessions. If you want to check it out, go to w.gg and use my code NOTDRUGS26 at checkout for 20% off your order. That's w.gg and code NOTDRUGS26 for 20% off. All right, now back to the episode.
your music, would you say you're more structured or chaotic?
Can be relatively structured. Like when you're trying to bring in, like I tend to take the chaos and put it into musical notation. That side of things is a little bit more structured, and it's just a matter of trying to match the inner chaos inside of my head to what I'm putting together in front of me.
Um, okay. Out of all your music, what one track means the most to you?
So one of my best songs that I've made is called Insanity, and it uh samples Voss from Far Cry 3. And like the definition of insanity, like where like you're thinking about something over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden when you try to do that same thing through action, it's just the same thing again and again. Like I see that as just, it's not just based on action, it's just the amount of inaction that you take from just not like just overthinking everything around you.
Yeah.
And it just kind of feels like the amount of insanity that goes through you when you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and then you push forward. Like something's gonna come of that one way or another if you're able to focus. But finding
Yeah.
that focus in a lot of internal chaos can sometimes lead to yourself repeating the same thing over and over again, thinking that something different's gonna happen. And sometimes it's just same shit, different day. Other times it's not. Like it really depends.
Yeah. Um, do you feel like you're discovering sound or chasing?
I think that I have discovered it, though I'm trying to learn about it more. Which, like, when it comes to making the actual sounds behind your songs, that's the tricky thing to find because sound design is 100% important in everything in relation to music. And I'm at that point where I'm trying to find a sound that's similar enough that I've used plenty of times, but it's different at the same time. Like something that no one has ever heard of. And they're like, whoa, what the fuck? I haven't found that sound yet to incorporate into my overall being.
Yeah. So you would say most people know you for your music.
Either my music or they've met me in the past from God knows where. And just like my out in public, I try my best to have a positive demeanor. So there have been instances where a lot of emotion just kind of comes through me and it just leaks out. But for the most part, it's more of just me just being like a laid back person, despite all the kind of craziness that takes place in my head all at once.
Yeah.
And they do know me for either making music, making mead, resin crafts, DJing, anything that kind of fits into that little pocket.
Yeah. Um, but anyways, but uh you also do a bit of writing. Yes.
Yes, I do. When I'm able to kind of focus on things, yeah, I can do quite a bit of writing.
What would you say pushed you into writing?
Interestingly enough, more often than not, like either life experiences combined with a lot of internal monologue and something that kind of just expresses itself in a way that you can't really understand, but it makes sense, if you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah, I know what you mean. Um, would you say your books and your music are connected?
Somewhat. I've actually made part one of a soundtrack for my first novel, so I just
Mm,
haven't really delved more into it for part two yet. Mainly
yeah,
because I've had other stuff going on in my life, and I don't have that big of an audience to be asking for that. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. How do you say writing is different from making music?
so music you kind of base off of so book writing and music writing. It stems from the same thing, the same area of imagination inside your head, but also at the same time, it coincides with past experiences, spiritual experiences, and just a lot. Like it's like a sea of craziness that takes place inside of you. And
Yeah,
music is able to take one angle of it. Writing, like book writing, takes a completely different angle.
yeah,
Like music is about the feeling, whereas writing is like you're depicting, you're visualizing and showing a whole different world that could be based off of just one feeling or a collection of feelings at that.
yeah. Um, would you say you plan your books or just start writing when it comes to mind?
It more often goes along of when it comes to mind.
Okay.
It depends on what
Right.
happens in my life too, so it tends to have a part.
So you self-publish. When you publish a book, you do
Yep,
self-publishing. So
I do.
why would you say you self-publish instead of traditional publish?
Well, it all boils down really to just money and the deals you have to make, and just whether or not they'll even approve getting you on their platform and so on and so forth. Like it just depends on finding an actual publisher that would be open to taking a risk on you.
Yeah,
And it's a good idea to start out self-publishing, but eventually there will come a time where it's like, hey, I got something good. It's been out for a while. I want to pass this on, see if it'll get anywhere. If it gets
yeah.
somewhere,
Oh yeah.
hell yeah. And if it doesn't, oh well, it happens.
Um, what would you say was the hardest publishing on Amazon?
When it comes to publishing on Amazon, really it's getting the formatting right for your manuscripts and also like the font size that they're looking for and getting your cover right. Like those are like the because you'll get something where it's like you submit it, you get it in the mail going, oh, this is cool. They actually sent it to me, but then you try publishing it, all of a sudden they're like, no, you have to fix this about your cover. And it's like, damn it. It's mainly just a lot of like what would you say? Like publishing based shit that just kind of like hinders you for a moment or whatever.
Okay.
And but either way, I have at least 10 books out right now, so I mean, I can't complain too much about it.
What would you say people think is easy about it but isn't?
World building, like being a DM inside of a campaign inside of Dungeons and Dragons. You literally have to make everything about that world, and also like if it's like even on your characters, you got to provide as much detail as you can, but still be at least somewhat mysterious in a way, but also in a way where people can read it at least somewhat quickly and go, God damn, what the fuck's going on right now? Like it's boils down to how you structure yourself.
Yeah.
And
And
mainly at the world building itself is the big thing is you have to be able to think a lot about your own little universe inside of books more than anything.
yeah. Um, I know people listening to this, either as soon as it comes out or in the future, stumble on this, might be thinking to themselves, could you actually make money doing it?
Depends on the audience, and I'm at that phase in my life where I'm trying to find an audience or some sort of outlet because all you really need is the outlet to get connected to a community to the point where you get quality feedback instead of just kind of like crickets and being able to connect with people because overall that's what it boils down to is just finding the audience that you can connect with in more ways than one.
Yeah. What would you say separates people that succeed from people that don't?
I'd say you just got to keep trying until something works or when something just is able to catch the attention of someone big
Yeah.
or just keep pushing to get your voice being heard by whatever means that you can think of.
So these next few questions is just to get a glimpse inside your head and see what you think on some things. But starting with why why do you think people trust confidence over credentials online?
Because if you're able to talk good talk, people will listen. And more often than not, when you have that confidence to where you don't give a damn about what people say or don't say, you just keep pressing forward, and the right people will find you. If you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I know what you mean. Um, would you say you have ever been like you ever felt pressured to present yourself, quote unquote, expert?
Depends on what kind of expert that you see me as. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on a lot of things, though I like to see myself as experienced in at least a few different avenues.
Yeah.
And being able to express knowledge in some capacity, no matter what type of topic it may be that I decide to splurge on my ass, or something that I've actually been messing around with for years. It just
Yeah.
boil. It really just boils down to who's willing to listen. Like
Oh
who's
yeah.
willing to listen, who wants to stick around, who wants to hear me babble, blah 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 blah. It's just who sticks around to hear the last word, you know.
Yeah, I know. What would you say is something about the internet that bothers you right now?
It Part of it is slowly becoming more surveillance like. As in Big Brother is trying to extend his hands in the places that he shouldn't. And yet he's
Yeah.
doing it anyway. And it's not necessarily what is on the internet that bothers me, because I mean, who knows what we can uncover on the internet. It's more of the big players in the political and real world that use the internet for their own ill-gotten gains. You know,
Yeah, I know.
'cause, like corporations can fucking swoop in and just take over everything. I mean, just look at Google, Facebook, and Instagram, for example.
Yeah. Um, uh, is everything you do, music, books, whatever it may be, part of a bigger vision to you?
A little bit, yeah. Just a different way of viewing the world and seeing how we can have the craziest kind of technology, but we shouldn't hoard it from one another. Like,
Yeah.
if we're wanting to evolve, we need to have technological progress be uninhibited, especially if there's a lot of big actors out there in the real world that are keeping us from learning specific kinds of information.
Oh yeah.
And just the system that's in place that inhibits a lot of individuals out there, including me, including you.
Oh yeah.
It's it's a matter of just finding a way to punch through and just seeing what you can make of it.
Yeah. Just finding your you, I guess to say. Um,
Mm,
which medium would you say lets you express yourself the best?
hmm, depends on the depth that you're looking for. Because when it comes to depth, I'd say my books. Whereas specific feelings that I have pop in my head, music. Because I can make a song about one type of feeling, and then either me or another friend can rap over it. Like, yep, we can do this. And just be able to tell a story either through written word or through rap.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Um, yeah. It is. It is something.
it truly is. Just finding that one little spark that can get you going in one medium or another. Like
Yeah.
even painting, by all means, like some form of artistic expression will allow your soul to persevere.
Oh, yeah. We kind of touched on this earlier, but would you say that you have ideas that have crossed over between your books and your music?
Yeah, I feel like I have at some point. I know that I've made a lot of sci-fi sounding songs based off of different things that have taken place in my book.
Okay. Well, where would you say you see Soulspark going in the future?
Well, someone that is able to get through with his message, seeing who would listen, and seeing who's willing to give him a chance to build something bigger than himself, if not all of us.
Would you say you're building towards something bigger than your music?
Oh, 100%.
Um, if you could leave any impact on the world, what kind of impact would you leave?
Ensuring that one, art will never die, and two, the voice of the free and the voice of the people in general will not go unanswered.
Okay. Now, what would you say is the weirdest idea you have turned into a track?
hmm. Let's see. I wouldn't necessarily say weirdest, but making like video game style tracks you'd find in like RuneScape or in even like some sort of like arcade. Just something that just kind of pulls you into another realm. Like, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing here?
Um, okay. If your work was a place, what would it look like?
Like a big old temple, a big old pyramidal temple out in the middle of the desert, untouched by anything within 50 miles in either direction. But it'd be
Um,
filled with all kinds of knowledge, tales, and freedom beyond all recognition.
okay. For those of people interested, for the people out there interested in reading your books, what is one book you think they should start with?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. So, if you're sci-fi fiction, want something enjoyable to read, I'll go with Interdimensional Space Odyssey. I believe you got a copy of that yourself, actually.
Yeah,
If you want fun,
I
enjoyable, and just something to, just fuck around with and enjoy, Interdimensional Space Odyssey is for you. If you want to dabble into some of my crazier ideas that I have in my head, I have my conceptual observation of quantum energy, which kind of like goes over like visual representations of the spirit world to some degree, or my inventive sketchings and ramblings of a madman, where just I go all over the place with the kind of crazy ideas that I have flowing in my head. So if you want to get in my head, inventive sketches and ramblings, along with conceptual observation of quantum energy, if you want to have fun, like turn off your brain and just get some mental enjoyment, Interdimensional Space Odyssey.
What's something you believe in now that your past self wouldn't believe in?
Technology evolves a lot quicker than you think. Would be the big thing. Because even today, with what we have now compared to what we have like not even like 10 years ago, it's just different to some degree.
Uh,
You know, so
uh,
and
uh,
who knows?
well, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
If the people listening out there, if someone listening feels stuck creatively, what would you say they do today?
They're feeling stuck. Well, just gotta get your body active to some degree. Try to wander around a little bit, whether it's inside your apartment, your house, your city block, or just somewhere. Get outside a little bit, separate yourself from the noise, and let yourself just kind of think a little bit. Like you don't have to think about work, you don't have to think about life, family. It's just simply letting your crazy thoughts in the back of your head, just let them out a little bit and see if any of them catch water. And just allow yourself to feel the ideas come to you instead of forcing them. Because if you
Mm,
force any creative pursuit, more often than not, it's not going to work out the way you want it to. So,
no,
and that's another thing. It's just be easy on yourself, and depending on how big of the idea that you have, go into it nice and easy.
okay. Well, for those for the for the people out there that have never heard of you and is just discovering you from this episode, where would you say they can find you?
They can find me Soul Spark on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. My books are available on Amazon as well. You can look up capital SOLSPARK, and then Interdimensional Space Odyssey. You can find all the books that I've made through there. You can find me on SoundCloud, Spotify, and a lot of music platforms out there as well. And I know a few of my songs can be used for any kind of bits that you want to do by just selecting it in TikTok Creator. So there,
Yeah.
you can definitely find me out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going, for those of you wondering, yeah. If you look down in the description, I'm going to put a few links down there as well. And also down in the description, you can find my Instagram for the podcast, and you can find the YouTube, Spotify, all that. You can find all that in the description, whatever you may be listening to this on. And that is all the time we have for. And we will see you all in the next episode. At least I would, and our normal co-hosts and my normal co-host will. And remember, don't do drugs alone. Do them with your family. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.